All right, we're back and we have learned so much. Our guest today is Dr. Patricia Sherman, and she's a licensed social worker. She's one of our professors or directors at Capella's. She's directing a new program there and on social work. What is it, Dr. Sherman? The
Bachelor in Social Work, BSW.
BSW in social work. And so I'm excited about that. Capella is my alma mater for my PhD, and I love Capella because I gained so much. I became a new person. I went into my new season. I won't say a new person. I went into my new season after understanding that I didn't know jack before a PhD, and they make sure you understand that that you had to kind of go through a rebirth, so to speak. So we have been talking about the whole experience around entrepreneurship, and she has given us some great nuggets. We will also be posting an article about this on the Strayer Facebook page. It's a little quaint article just to go over the tips that she gave. And for those of you who, some of us are just auditory learners, so some are visual learners as well. So we're going to do a write-up to show to you. So you want to make sure you watch for that. I also want you to give Dr. Sherman kudos for the great interview that she's doing here for us today and giving us these great nuggets that we're taking. I'm learning too. Even though I do practice entrepreneurship, I am learning from her, and the chapter was so awesome. I love it. But anyway, I wanted Dr. Sherman to come back and talk to us today. She talked to us about why she thought she wanted to go into entrepreneurship, and that was to gain capital, money to pay for a new situation in her life. She also talked about doing a SWOT analysis, that she sat back and did that on herself and decided, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? And but in this SWOT analysis, I didn't see opportunities, I saw the threats, because the threats were some of the weaknesses that she supplied to us in her chapter. But I also thought, wow, this is so good for any career, whether I'm thinking about entrepreneurship track, or I'm thinking about my next move at the company, or I'm thinking about, taking a new type of job, a new type of career, because I now have, for those of you out there that's getting your bachelor's, or those who of you are getting a master's that's listening to this, or some of the alumni who've decided to go on and get your PhD. She makes an excellent point on doing a SWOT analysis on yourself. And I think that I wanted her to talk to us about how the two intertwine. And did she come up with that SWOT analysis based on looking at her career path and what was good about that and how she felt through that, versus when she looked at it and what an entrepreneur needed, a person who wanted to be an entrepreneur needed? Was there any correlations?
Yeah. Well, what I looked at was I was spending a lot of time and energy on all of these activities. And I thought, well, if they're not working out, what would I want to spend my time and energy on? What was going to add to the bank account, but bring me joy? Because none of this was joyful. And I believe that we deserve joyful life. And
Yes.
So I thought, like, this is not fun. I'm not having a good time here. But what do I have a good time doing? And I realized, well, I had an opportunity when our son was very young. I had been the director of education and training at the VA when I left to start raising our children. And so I thought, well, I really enjoyed the teaching that I was doing. So maybe I could start putting together some adjunct teaching jobs. Not getting rich that way, but certainly adds to the bank account. So what I really love to do is create environments where people can grow, where they can learn, they can heal. And so that was also when I started a private practice that I had for a while when the kids were not so noisy. And so I put together teaching and a private practice, as well as doing some supervision for social workers who were looking for licenses. And I put together some programs, as Dr. Carroll talked about, of educational programs that I would do at different agencies. So those all day or 2-hour continuing education kinds of things. But again, maybe I could have made a really lucrative business out of doing that all the time, but it would have taken what? Initiative, going out, saying, here I am, here's my brochure. Nah, I waited to get asked. And so, fortunately enough, people asked that we were able to build our income up. And so I created a life where my passion, which is again, creating environments in which people can learn and grow, I was able to do that in a variety of ways, through teaching, through parenting, through courses that I created. And so I was able to marry the need that I had with a different solution, because my mistake was not really looking at what's the problem and brainstorming possible solutions. I came up with a solution first, which I think is what many of us do. Have a business. Well, that's logical, but I hadn't done all this thought processes before it. And if I had, I would not have lost all the money that we lost trying to find what was the right thing to do. And I think that's really important as you're thinking about what you want to do, is don't think you have the solution first. Really explore the problem and do some creative thinking about what might be the best, what might be some different ways of solving that problem, and then picking a solution, not shutting out all those other. I could have had all those possibilities way back in the beginning, but I didn't, because I thought I knew what the right thing was to do.
Wow. I love this. I love this that you talked about creative problem solving. That's what we're here for, to learn how to solve problems. And I love how you said, look at the problem first and see what are the possible solutions. So if you, as you're saying, you went directly to the solution, which wasn't the solution.
It would be for somebody else, but it wasn't for me.
Yes,
right?
I know, but I think that a lot of people have that. I mean, and even for me at first, I was like, and as I was going to my entrepreneurship journey, I have this one business now that I'm like, oh, yeah, I got the business because I knew how to solve problems. I'm a problem solver. I'm good at it, but it wasn't enough. I could solve your problem, but I need to hand it off to you because it's not an area that I want to be in. And so I love that. And back into your solution. This is my problem, which your problem was needing another income stream. And instead of you saying, what talents do I have? And what are the opportunities for those talents? And what is it that I need? Where do I need to reside at? And we talk a lot about this through our classes, the various classes on the career site and things of that nature. We talk about that here at Strayer and both at Capella. I know both of these because I'm involved with both of them. I'm an alumni in here. But here's the thing. When you look at here's my problem, here's my opportunities, but here is where I need to be. I need to be at home. I need something where it's convenient, it's flexible for me to work from home. I may have to go out sometime, but I don't need to go out all the time. And based on these things, what is ideal for me? And if I want to do a little bit by word of mouth, because I'm good and I'm talented and people will come to me, is that going to be enough for me? If that's not enough for me, then the next logical step could be, in some particular people's situation, if I'm not a good marketer, if I'm not good at asking for the acts, If I'm not good in self-promotion, then can I get something to supplement that by hiring out? And how much is that going to cost? Therefore, and how much additional business would that bring? And would that additional business cover the costs?
And that's the piece that I never thought about.
Mhm.
I didn't have Dr. Carol in my life. Right? Who could have said, you just go on the stage and do your thing. I'll do all this other stuff. That
Exactly.
would have been perfect. You know,
Exactly.
the marriage of skills and desires would have been great. But we're here today.
Yes. But you still did some. And I think that everything that you did prepared you for now. But if we could, guys, Dr. Sherman is so right on, if we can eliminate unnecessary cost along the way, we can get that much further ahead because we're eliminating that unnecessary cost. I know I often talk to the undergrad students or any student that's falling behind, and I'm like, this is unnecessary cost you're going to have to go through if you don't go ahead and finish what you started. If you have to go back and take this class again, that's another cost for the class that you're going to have to add to your situation down the road that you don't need to pay back or use. Even if you're getting reimbursement from your employers, you want to make sure you take advantage of all the available capital you have at that moment, and you use it to the point where you can say that investment of that class turned into another investment of double, because from that class, I learned in this particular case, I learned that a SWOT analysis is needed on me as an individual so that I know what it is I need to do. So if nothing else we take away, we're going to do that SWOT analysis, guys, right? Out there, I want you to do a SWOT analysis on yourself. This quarter, we talked about vision boards on our Facebook challenge. And so with that vision board, I want you to also do a SWOT analysis on you. We'll look forward to seeing the article we write up on our interview with Dr. Sherman and the key takeaways that we had here today. And from that, you can also attach that to your vision board as you come up with what you decided, even though that vision is, I want this. A lot of people put a house on their vision board, but I want you to also put your career, what you're thinking about on your career from a career perspective. How do you see yourself in your future work world? How do you see, or you see yourself in the gig economy? Do you see yourself in the as an entrepreneur? If you see yourself as an entrepreneur, what does that mean? What's around you? What's the environment? That SWOT analysis is going to help you. If I see myself in the world of work, what do I see? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities? What are the threats in that career? And what does that provide me with? As you're taking your classes here, I want you to think about all the assessments that we may take you through, whether it be the DISC or the Myers-Briggs, or whatever assessment you have. I need you to take opportunities for that, because that is a very costly venture to do on your own and have an expert explain what the outcomes were from that assessment and what you can do with it. So please take advantage. I tell you, even though the class may cost one thing, the outcomes from the expert that you're working with or this and speaking to you about it is worth thousands of dollars more. So
It's priceless. Yeah, it's actually
it's
priceless. Yep.
So, having a person like Dr. Sherman, I was like, she gonna be my mentor? Oh my gosh, yes. She can do some things that I couldn't or other people in business couldn't do. Like this.
Well, and I teach my people I work with to do SWOT analysis on their clients. You can use the SWOT analysis is ubiquitous. You can use it everywhere. It's really invaluable.
It is. And and we think about SWOT analysis only for business. And you have broke that down to us and say, hey, this is an everyday life situation that you need to use this on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any closing comments to us, Dr. Sherman?
No, I guess as you think about your careers, what brings you joy? Just think about what is it that brings you joy and what pieces of that can also be part of a career.
Wonderful, wonderful. I ditto to that, Dr. Sherman. Joy is very important. I love teaching. I love seeing people grow. And so Dr. Sherman and I have a lot of the same things in common when it comes to that. But at the same time, I love business. I love problem solving. I love figuring things out that I probably wouldn't have figured out, or what people can't figure out. I love doing it. I love the challenge of figuring out problems. And so that for me is the thing that gets me going. When my mind can go, and it's like I feel alive.
Well, I want to piggyback on that. So you see what Dr. Carol, what brings her joy. What brings me joy is helping people find that for themselves. And so that's a great quality for a social worker or therapist of some kind, not for an entrepreneur necessarily.
Wow, that's a great point. That's a great point. Wow. Wow, we could go on and on. This has been so great. I love talking with Dr. Sherman. I look forward to talking with her every week. I don't know if we're going to talk every week, but I do look forward to talking to her. She has so much wisdom around people and thought processes and things they want to think about. And she knows how to deliver it in a way that helps the person go, yeah, I need to think about that. So she's really an expert in her area. Even when she will always be some type of mentor to me, or somebody I can go to, a friend I can go to and talk about
Just
things.
a friend. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So with that said, we are going to close out. I hope that you have enjoyed Dr. Sherman today and talking about entrepreneurship. And I hope that you've gotten a little more information about, hey, do I want to really be an entrepreneur? And what does it take to be an entrepreneur? And what do I need to have in place if I do want to be an entrepreneur? Do I have the right skill sets for that? So that's it. Thank you guys for joining us for Coffee and Conversation. We were here today with Dr. Patricia Sherman, Capella University. Yay! We'll talk to you guys later.